just that felt a little disoriented when I woke up, but I recognized waking up on the couch of in my house.
Okay. So when they brought you to me for attention, you were bleeding heavily. You had several slashes, some burns. Your legs appeared like they attempted to, well, they stomped on them. They didn't achieve their goal of breaking them completely, but I'm pretty sure you had a few fractures. But I was tending to your bleeding first. Um, while I was tending to you, they brought in two more people. So I stabilized you as best I could, stopped the bleeding, and I turned to go and check on Grimlock and then on Leilani. Well, after I stabilized Leilani a bit, I turned and I went back to you to try and see how you were doing, if you were still stable, and then check your legs. And then all of a sudden, I got this heavy feeling of um, darkness overcome by shadow, and poof, you were gone. All I could see was the remnants of portal energy. And the first thing that came to my mind was the Eldritch God. So when someone, it was June who was nearest to me, I can't remember who else I told, I said, I think Venelope has been taken by the Eldritch God. Because, of course, a few moments ago, you were being used as a catalyst. So he must have felt the abundance of energy that you were exuding. So that was my thought process. That's why I was wondering what, when you woke up, how were you feeling? I know, of course, pain, but was there, was your injuries kind of healed, in the process of healing? Looked like they were 2 days old because that's how much they healed. I'm trying to figure out what the hell happened between there and here. Did you have any weird dreams? Did you feel anything out of the ordinary? Or is just totally no memory?
Because everything just was just black.
Mm.
Perhaps you should check her wounds. There should be still healing, right?
Well, to a certain degree, um,
I mean, if she was cut up and had a fracture, then you should see some signs of it, right?
I know Leilani had looked over the injuries that I had. I
and
just
what
remember
was,
her. She said that I had some cuts, some burns, and that she was able to heal a lot of it.
okay.
Okay.
When did she do this?
So,
A few days ago, I believe.
And who healed her? Because Leilani was not in a good situation when we left the battlefield.
I don't know.
She had a broken ankle, fractured in three places, which I temporarily mended for later inspection by Stone whenever she got a chance to make sure that what I did was had taken well. She had burn marks all over herself, which I also tended to. I can't remember the other injury she had. And she was spent because of the energy she used.
We saw Lilani when we went to go burn down the Deathclaw villages. Remember?
Yeah, but just because she's walking around doesn't mean that she is up to 100% performance. Look at Kevin. Kevin is walking around, but no one knows that he is ill unless you say something.
But the reason I asked about her wounds is I was trying to ascertain whether whatever took her was wanting to heal her. Apparently, that's not the case.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a puzzle. That's a real puzzle. I'm not understanding because if it would have been the Eldritch God, then would he have healed you?
I doubt it, but I know that he wants me to pay his debt. He seems for sure that I'm gonna pay it.
Hmm.
That's how it sounded the day before trying to close the portals. I'd gone to the unnamed city with Arcane, Leilani, Warren, and June.
Mm-hmm.
Because Arcane was filtering the energies in the unnamed city through her into me. And while we were doing that, the Eldritch God had I.
So perhaps you went to the unnamed city, you drew your power, it caught the god's or deity's attention. Then, in a vulnerable moment, for whatever reason, it grabs you and then returns you home.
That
Why would
or
it?
go ahead. Why would it what?
Why would it return me back here though?
Because remember, he has a purpose for you. And if it was not that, that was again, it is just my first instinct when you disappeared that way because there's no one here. None of us make portals. None of us can manifest portals, not that easily at least. And we were battling the Deathclaw, who we were trying to close their portals. So it was odd to me that there was energies in the spot where you were. Who could have manifested a portal? Unless you did it unconsciously, not even aware, is the only other possibility.
Oh, we were discussing that possibility on the way here.
Hmm.
But
That would
yeah,
be.
it could be a combination thing.
Hmm. True.
I know I've
Like you said,
never. Go ahead, Krill.
oh, I was just saying, like Veloshi pointed out, you were infused with a lot of power. It could have been examining you or something like that. Sort of like one would do an experiment or
Yeah, and I can. I know I can create a lot of different portals. I've done it before. I can make portals easily, but I don't know how I'd be able to do that. Whatever,
Your
subconsciously.
subconscious mind. I mean, if you perceive yourself in danger, maybe somewhere in the inner recesses of your mind, you've created your own self defense mechanism that triggers when maybe your body is in a certain weakened state, is all I can think of.
yes, I have an extraction ward, but doesn't mean that subconsciously it wouldn't be possible without it. So yeah, you could have very well extracted yourself here as a self-preservation mechanism.
I don't know how I'd do that. I've never even interlaid that with my own self before to be able to do that subconsciously. I wouldn't have the mental strength to do that after all these years.
Well, remember that was a very unique situation that you were in. You were being fed energies, abundant amount of energies, and the reflection of the energies from the portal of the Death Claw. At that moment, when you lost all consciousness, for lack of better wording, or conscious reasoning, your unconscious mind kicked in. And that's why everything else that happened. Because, again, like you said, you don't think that the Eldritch God would have, though he's interested in your powers and such, for whatever reason, using this debt over your head is how he's controlling the situation, if I remember correctly. Um, it could be that. It could be just as simple as that. Something that you are not aware of that you can do. I mean, I just realized something the other day that Siren brought to my attention that I was not aware that I was doing. So it is possible.
There is still a lot I don't know about my powers. My brother's supposed to help me with that at some point. All I know is that it can cause a lot of destruction.
Well, I think, while that might be true, at the same time, hopefully your heart is in the right place so you wouldn't intentionally try to cause chaos and harm, though you have the potential to do so. And maybe this is whatever is in you growing. Not growing. Growing is not the right word. Krill, what's the right word? Not expanding. Evolving.
Well,
It's evolving.
quite frankly, most worthwhile powers tend to be tend to have a destructive potency about them, regardless. So that's just part of managing them. But you could be evolving. I'm just not sure what terms did you last leave with this elder deity?
I
What
mean,
terms did you part with?
I try to block him out of my mind as much as possible. At least the last time I spoke with him, he seemed determined that I was going to pay this debt. I know before that, it was a couple months prior, he had told me that if I didn't kill my brother, that I would be his for eternity. And my brother and I've had multiple conversations, and he's done nothing about it. He had even mentioned the day before closing the portals that he hadn't been tormenting me because we were all dealing with the death claw and we're dealing with our impending doom. That's how he put it, how he worded it. And he does believe that the unnamed city is my home since whenever I was last there, he was happy to have seen me there and had called it home, as if he was glad to have me back home.
Are you sure he wasn't? He doesn't sound so much like a god, but more like a family member.